Dan Bilzerian, the self-proclaimed king of Instagram, has seemed to fake it all. In fact, it has always been a mystery where the internet icon gets his money. Formerly hailed as the Bill Gates of poker, suddenly seems to have exaggerated his success story and uses an extravagant lifestyle in order to attract a fan base interested in material things and sexual conquests. However, when the smoke and glamour that surrounded his achievement gradually faded, there was nothing left except a fortress of deceit and lies. And you know what? That fortress of lies fell directly on Dan Bilzerian's head, and the king of Instagram has been missing from his own kingdom ever since. But before we dig him out of his fortress of deception and lies, let's go back in time and see how this crazy guy became an overnight sensation on Instagram, then used it to launch a business, and finally how his lies were exposed. It also won't hurt to click the like button, and you'll be grateful for a lot of interesting and entertaining content if you subscribe to our channel. That being said, lads, let's go back to December 7th, 1980, when Dan Bilzerian, or more specifically, Daniel Brandon Bilzerian, was born in Tampa, Florida. There's a saying that rotten fruit won't go far from its tree. The same happens with Dan Bilzerian. He too turned out to be like his father, Paul Bilzerian. His father also seems to be a nice guy, a sort of businessman who specialized in corporate takeovers and was always on business trips or working long hours at his business. But you know what? His drama was also over soon, and he ended up convicted of security and tax fraud. Paul was sentenced to surrender his unlawful riches, which equaled $62 million, and declared bankruptcy after spending 13 months in jail. What happened to Paul Bilzerian's money is unknown, although both Dan and his younger brother Adam had trust funds, and there are high chances that this is where Dan Bilzerian's income came from. So all of Dan Bilzerian's drama and lies were to use his father's black money, like the lucky bastard who claims to have won $50 million playing high-stakes poker. The guy was so good at acting and deceit that even the Daily Mail guys were obsessed with his girl's show that they named him a $100 million poker playboy in 2013. But why did no one check? Was he overly skilled at poker? And has he ever won a large sum of money, such as $10 million in a single poker game? Well, honestly speaking, everyone wasn't looking at him. They were noticing the hot and charming girls around this crazy dude. And you know what? He sells. He sells lessons on how to score girls and that kind of stuff. So everyone assumed that the king of Instagram is really a poker genius, since no one was able to look away from his girls to check his assets. It is said that professional poker players are highly intelligent and have a high mental level. None of these traits are present in Danny Boy, who always wants to hide behind half-naked charming girls. I mean, from the start, he was a problematic kid who often got his ass beat up by getting into unnecessary fistfights and eventually was expelled from school. He then tried a new school but was again kicked out because he brought a gun to school. Dan somehow was able to graduate from high school and become a Navy SEAL. But again, his unlucky ass got in the way, and he was dismissed and had to quit the program. Again, he thinks of his miserable life, and this time he gets enrolled at the University of Florida, where he studies business and criminology for 4 years. It is still unknown if he really graduated or left in between, but one thing is obvious. This was when Dan first became interested in poker. According to him, he no longer had access to his trust money, and after selling his gun collection, he resorted to poker to support his education. On the other side, he gets all the black money left by his father for him, and he makes a successful plot to wash that black money white, and at the same time, bang as many girls as he can to compensate for the previous suffering of his miserable life. So, the black money was showered as much as possible to live the most luxurious life he could have imagined. And instead of one girl or two, he broke up with his girlfriend to have a dozen girls around him all day, every day. In the meantime, several players in the poker world have raised doubts about Bilzerian's claims, saying it's unrealistic to win that much money at the tables nowadays. It was more likely that Bilzerian inherited his wealth from his father Paul, who, as we talked about before, was a corporate raider who profited from fraud in the 80s and secured his wealth in offshore assets despite having filed for bankruptcy many years ago. Paul Bilzerian is believed to have cashed in on fraud throughout that time period. That was not enough for this crazy dude. Next, he planned to deceive his more than 33 million Instagram subscribers, whom he attracted by showing charming girls. So he started his own company called Ignite. This company marketed itself as a global lifestyle brand unlike any other and distributes CBD in addition to alcoholic drinks, carbonated beverages, nicotine, and other products. Bilzerian wasn't a straightforward guy. So again, he screwed up and instead started using his firm Ignite to pay for his sexy girls, private yachts, helicopter rides, and his extravagant lifestyle, which he showed off on the internet to make his fan base jealous. But the voice of those who were off to catch him was soon heard as it was revealed that his company, Ignite, lost $50 million in 2019 as a result of subsidizing the online playboy's lifestyle. In addition, the specifics of Bilzerian's expenditures were disclosed in a lawsuit filed against him in the year 2020 by Curtis Heffernan, who had previously served as president of Ignite. Dan was throwing the firm's money everywhere. With his Ignite cash, Bilzerian bought a ping pong table for $15,000, a rock climbing wall for $40,000, and even paid for a photo shoot in the Bahamas that cost $130,340. We don't know if the photo shoot was dirty or not, but it wasn't good for Ignite. After learning that, the then president, Curtis Heffernan, rejected the expenses, Bilzerian fired him. Heffernan responded with a legal action meant to punish him. In the coming months, in an interview conducted in 2020, Ignite workers allegedly disclosed all relevant information to Forbes. Everything was paid by Ignite, from models to events to boats. Then, all of a sudden, it was a cost for Ignite, and Dan would give them the bill. Dan would simply have it wrap everything, including the half-nude girls with the Ignite logo, and then send the bill to Ignite. It was also discovered that Bilzerian leased his 31,000 square foot, 12-bedroom, 25-bathroom mansion in Los Angeles before moving out of it. After having problems with the Homeowners Association, Ignite was responsible for paying the $200,000 lease. So many people are wondering if Bilzerian is financially stable. As more and more allegations and lawsuits against him came forward, the king of Instagram has stopped posting in social media. He has been absent for a while, and his most recent Instagram post, dated November 11, 2021, is a repost of a picture that he first uploaded to the platform in October 2018, and he has now reposted it a second time 3 years later. Last but not least, Dan Bilzerian's entire foundation was called into doubt, as he was even attacked for being a mediocre poker player, and when his lies were known, people lost faith in the icon. There were also rumors going around that Dan Bilzerian had foolishly spent away the money from his trust fund. During an interview with Larry King, he said that he had handed everything over to his brother, Adam. On top of everything else, it came to light that his father, a convicted criminal who is prohibited from engaging in any kind of business, had been operating Ignite the whole time. When taken together, these considerations demonstrate to everyone that Instagram is not an accurate reflection of reality. Further, if you cheat, lie, and deceive, you'll eventually get caught. But at the same time, this crazy guy was able to become an instant hit on Instagram, managed to leverage that to open a company, and even listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange, a thing that was super impressive. But as the saying goes, lies are always exposed in the end, and his fate was similar to that of other scams and Ponzi schemes that achieved instant success and then vanished. And with that, today's video has come to an end. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and comment down below. Our goal with this channel has been to create good, entertaining brain food that will broaden your mind and widen your skill set while having a few laughs along the way. By liking and subscribing to our channel, you help us create more content for you. See you in the next video. Till then.